SIP Ashok Chotwani, SIP Mrs. Sadhwani, SIP Yogini, SIP Parati Amma, SIP Bliss, SIP Sagai, SIP Sangam, SIP Girish, SIP Ashok Nichani, SIP Ru, SIP Rekha Parwani, SIP Eru. Welcome to the call. We have an interesting subject today, and it can be so varied in perspective. The tug of war. How many of you understand the meaning of tug of war? Life is a tug of war, and each of you has a different perspective. What is the tug of war in your life? I want to ask you. Rumata ji, shuru kijiye.
प्रणाम गुरुजी.
प्रणाम माता जी. शिवम, बताइए क्या समझे आप? Tug of war क्या है?
गुरुजी, I feel the tug of war is between yoga and bhoga. When we are in bhoga, the mind takes over and we are dragged into sansar and we run after money, possession, fame, all things which are of no matter. But when we are in yoga, we are in Satchit Anand, we are in consciousness of the truth. The main difference, the tug of war I feel is this, that we have to remain in consciousness.
So, but बताइए, ये tug of war yoga bhoga में what exactly happens in this tug of war?
गुरुजी, जब माइंड हमारे ऊपर हावी हो जाता है तो हम शैतान बन जाते हैं, और जब भगवान बन जाता है शैतान हमें, तो वी आर इन कॉन्शियसनेस.
So कौन पुल कर रहा है? शैतान पुल कर रहा है, माइंड पुल कर रहा है. Who is pulling us into bhoga? Who is going to pull us into yoga?
Actually mind ही पुल करता है, but mind has got no existence. वो भी हम ही बनाते हैं.
तो मतलब ये tug of war कौन खेल रहा है? मतलब according to you, if this is the point, then who is playing the? If there is no mind, then who is playing the tug of war? Who is the tug of war between whom and whom?
थॉट आती है तो माइंड भी क्रिएट हो जाता है ना गुरुजी.
एब्सोल्युटली. तो आप क्यों बोलते हैं माइंड नहीं है? ऑफ कोर्स माइंड है. माइंड बन जाता है, लेकिन माइंड है ना. माइंड इन रियलिटी देयर इज नो माइंड, बट बिकॉज वी हैव नो कंट्रोल ऑन आवरसेल्फ, we have become a slave to thoughts, and the shaitan, as you call the shaitan takes over. The Bhagwan loses the tug of war.
Yes, Guruji.
Why should Bhagwan lose the tug of war? What is the solution?
We have to remain in consciousness.
How to remain in consciousness?
We have to remain in Satchit Anand always.
How to do it? How to do it?
By using intelligence. Whenever wrong thought is coming, we have to shut it down there only, and shut the door towards the problem.
Please do me a favor, please. Please think for 5 minutes when people are continuing to ask questions. Aapne itna bola. Please tell me, what do you think is the solution in this tug of war? Please think about it. Just apply your intellect, apply your buddhi, and tell me what is the way. Because today we have to learn. We have to learn what is this. We have to learn what is this tug of war. आज ये सीखना है हमें. तो कैसे सीखेंगे?
I feel शांति में रह के, silence में रह के.
तो then silence में tug of war नहीं है?
Tug of war तो होगी. जब तक हम कॉन्शियसनेस में हैं तब तक टग ऑफ वॉर नहीं है. अगर हम कॉन्शियसनेस में नहीं है तो टग ऑफ वॉर तो रहेगी.
So you have come, see, now you have come one step forward. What have you come? You are saying the way to win the tug of war is to be in consciousness. आपने भी बताया ये बात. So please apply your mind some more. You are right. What you have come now, you have come a long way. You have come a long way to say, why, Rumataji, why we lose the tug of war? We lose the tug of war because the shaitan, which is the mind, is bombarding us with thoughts and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. And we die and we are reborn. And this goes on and on.
Ji.
So the way to win the tug of war is what you just said?
To remain in consciousness.
How to remain in consciousness? I'm leaving the question with you and asking Ashok Nichani. What is the tug of war you are talking about, Ashok Nichani?
Shivam Sirji.
Shivam, sir.
Sarji, every human being has a war inside him.
Correct.
It is between the soul and the mind. The war is between the soul.
Why would the soul have a war, Ashok Nichani? Soul
No,
क्यों war
Sarji.
करे?
Yes, Sarji, because our mind pulls us.
And although in the tug of war, mind is on one side holding the rope. Who's on the other side?
Other side, we should use our Vivek and Vairagya not to get pulled over there.
So who should use? Who should use?
Sir, if the mind wins the tug of war, we will get rebirth.
Yeah.
And the soul wants liberation.
Soul doesn't want liberation. Let us be clear about liberation. Soul, Ashok Nichani, soul is already liberated.
Yes, sir. We want liberation.
Who's this we?
We means I would like to.
तो यहाँ पे फंस जाते ना हम. I'm asking you one question, Ashok Dashani. आपके लाइफ में tug of war है कि नहीं?
है.
Please explain in honest and simple words. क्या tug of war है आपके लाइफ में? Don't worry about anything. Don't think. Don't have shame. Don't have. ऐसा ही मुझे बताओ. आपके लाइफ में क्या tug of war है? बताइए मुझे.
Sir जी, tug of war जो है, it is because of sansar, desires.
That day you told me, Sir ji, I'm sorry, I cannot come Zoom call. Sir ji, मैं कहाँ dinner के लिए जा रहा हूँ. तो tug of war हो गया ना. किसी ने आपको pull कर दिया ना.
पुल कर दिया.
आपने अपोलोजाइज किया. सर जी, मैं आज नमस्कार जी, मैं आपका जूम कॉल नहीं आऊंगा. आज मैं बिरयानी खाने जा रहा हूँ. तो टग ऑफ वॉर में आपने लोग आप यू लॉस्ट इन द टग ऑफ वॉर.
सर जी, if we think we are the body, I, me and mind, then the mind wins.
So who has to win this tug of war, Ashok Nichani? Who has to win the tug of war?
The tug of war should be won by not the mind, but the soul. By the soul, sir.
No, it is you, the intellect. It is you, the intellect shining in consciousness.
Right,
see, okay, Ashok Nichani, I'm asking you a question. If in spiritual answer, I'm asking a question. Spiritually, tell me, who are you in reality?
I'm not the body, mind, and ego. I'm the soul.
You are the soul. Correct. But for you to be winning, for you to win the tug of war, what you have to do?
I have to get liberated from the ego, I, me, and mind, body.
Correct. Who will help you get liberated?
Silence.
No, who will help you get liberated?
Intellect. Consciousness.
Who is that in reality?
Intellect and consciousness.
Intellect and consciousness comes alive because of what?
From Viveka and Vairagya.
That comes alive because of whom? The consciousness, the intellect comes alive because of whom? What happens when the consciousness is, when does the consciousness leave us, Ashok? When does it leave us?
When we are not in that, when we are in the state of mind.
No, when does it permanently leave us? That is okay. When does it permanently leave us?
When we die.
Correct. So you are that soul power. Tattvamasi. You use the power of the soul. You use the power of the soul to make the consciousness shine, and you win the tug of war. Don't say the soul wants liberation. See, I've taught you all something unique now. All of us in this call, every day this call is taking us from one graduation to post-graduation to super post-graduation. Every day this call takes us to a new level. Ashok Nichani.
Yes, sir.
Soul is S-O-U-L, spark of unique life. It is your soul as long as it is in your body.
So we need liberation.
Yeah, not the soul. You must use the power of the soul. You must use the power of the soul, which is the Atma, which is the Paramatma, to pull this damn it body, mind, and ego and win the tug of war.
Right, Sirji.
If you don't do that, Ashok, what will happen? If you
We'll
don't
come
do that,
back again.
tomorrow you will
We'll
be
come
going
back.
to Rameshwaram and you'll be doing 21 dubkis. Then you will come and tell me, मैं आज कल 25 की डुबकी करके आया. हर कुएं में वो आदमी 100 रुपए लेता है. लेता नहीं लेता? 100 रुपए 100 रुपए 100 रुपए 100 रुपए लेता है.
Yes, Sirji.
क्या मिलेगा? 21 डुबकी करने के बाद क्या मिलेगा?
कुछ नहीं. We have to come back again and again.
So, therefore, who will tell me? Chidanand wants to speak. As we are talking, one more thing comes up. There's a tug of war between two things. As we are talking, what is the two things? Tug of war between two elements in our life. Who can tell me? I'm asking Chidanand, but as I spoke to Ashok Nichani, clearly, there's a tug of war. See, there's a tug of war. There's 20 type of tug of war in our life. 20. I can tell you before the end of this call, at least 20 tug of war. Chidanand, bolo sir. And then Bliko.
The tug of war is between basically Chidabhasa, that is soul, that unique life as a human form is into ignorance because of this Chidabhasa, with nothing but mind and ego.
So the tug of war is between whom in English? Tug of war is between whom and whom?
Tug of war is between the illusion called me and I, and the real SIP, which is actually the SIP is always liberated. But who is that? Me and I is falsely thinking that I am bound, I am controlled by these 20 senses. All Indriyas are just pulling me up and down. But that is Maya. That is the whole game. Samsara means that.
Okay. Chidanand. There is Chidanand. You know tug of war. No? Tug of war, jante na? You played tug of war.
Yes.
You have played tug of war.
Yes. The ground of tug of war is intellect. The ground of tug of war is intellect. The same intellect, actual reflection is of self.
Now wait. Now I agree. Wait. No, wait. I agree with you. On one side, the tug of war is intellect. Who's on the other side?
The false ego. Mind and ego.
No. Tell me what is on the other side. You are saying on one side is intellect. What's on the other side?
Other side is self.
Chidanand, on one side is intellect. Anybody else wants to button quickly? Yes, Rekha Parvani, quickly.
Ignorance.
Correct. See, Rekha Parvani, how did she say so clearly? One side is intellect, other side is ignorance. Ignorance is pulling us. Ignorance. Correct. I said English. Aap English mein bolo na, main bola. Okay.
That I'm learning.
I'm learning from you. One side ignorance is pulling us. One side intellect has to pull and pull and pull. Who is going to win the war? If ignorance wins the war, the intellect fails.
Cycle remains. Yeah.
If the intellect wins the war, the ignorance is no more. If the mind wins the war, the consciousness is no more. If the consciousness wins the war, the mind is no more. If yoga wins the war, bhoga is no more. If bhoga wins the war, yoga is no more. If gladness wins the war, sadness is no more. If sadness wins the war, gladness is no more. If mukti wins the war, freedom, slavery is no more. If slavery wins the war, mukti is no more. I've already told you many.
Yes.
I want you to tell me. There are many tug of wars inside. On one side, there's a tug of war. One side, paisa. One side, Prabhu. One side, tug of war, Prabhu chahiye. One side, tug of war, paisa chahiye. If paisa wins, Prabhu disappears. If Prabhu wins, you don't need paisa. We have to acknowledge the tug of war. Today, I don't know from where this topic came. I told you, I don't know. Suddenly, ting tong, I told, what is the topic they asked me today? I said tug of war. I don't know what is tug of war. I don't know. But I know there is tug of war. Everybody's life has a tug of war. And our goal is to win this tug of war. Bliko.
Shivoham,
Shivoham, sir.
Actually, you gave answer completely.
I have not given any answer still.
Yeah.
You please tell your answer from your point of view.
Tug of war is ancient Olympic game where two groups are pulling in the same rope, right? With your picture.
Pulling in the opposite direction.
Yeah, opposite direction with the two group of people. Here we have two group of the senses and desires and minds and all this ignorance which pulls us to samsara, and the other side there is a consciousness and mind sign. If your mind is in intellect is in charge, the intellect will control this war, and if it wins, then you will be in the yoga and you will be united.
So what is the tug of war you are facing?
So I am facing sometime this desire things for the worldly things, like even if I know, yeah.
So on one side the tug of war is desire. What's on the other side?
There is intellect.
On the one side is desire. On the one side is?
It's consciousness. Intellect.
No. One side is desire. The other side is desirelessness.
Desirelessness, yeah, desirelessness. That is consciousness. No desire. Yeah.
So on suppose you say, and one bhajan I say, जो मेरा वो मेरा, जो तेरा वो भी मेरा, जो मेरा वो मेरा, जो तेरा वो भी मेरा. This is what we have. Now imagine who's the person who says, I have no desire. You know who's the person, Bliko? The person who has no desire says, है ये आस्था मुकम्मल तुम ही हो जीवन में मेरे और कुछ नहीं हो कन कन मेरा तुम बस तुम ही हो और कुछ भी आए जगह नहीं हो मेरे तन मन में मुकम्मल तुम ही हो. So Bliko, what is the opposite of desire? Now tell me.
Unfulfilledness. That is ignorance. Ignorance.
No. What is who has to win the war against desire? Who will give the answer? Who has to win the war against desire? Who will give the answer?
No desire.
No.
Desireless.
No.
Vairagya.
No. Who will win the war of who can win the war against desire? Ye chahiye, ye chahiye, ye chahiye, ye chahiye, ye chahiye, ye chahiye. Who will win the war against desire?
Consciousness.
When you have
Yogi will win the war.
Yogi.
No.
When you have fulfillment.
Yogi is advanced state. Don't talk about yogi.
When you have fulfillment.
What's that?
Fulfillment. When you have
Fulfillment.
Yeah.
So the one who wins the desire, one who overcomes desire, is the one who lives with contentment and fulfillment. This is the second peak of happiness. The first peak of happiness is achievement. So there's a tug of war between achievement and fulfillment. On one side, somebody wants achievement. On the other side, somebody wants fulfillment. One wins the war. If you have fulfillment, you give up achievement. If you're a slave of achievement, you will have no fulfillment. There's the tug of war. When I was working for 25 years, I had no fulfillment. Only passion, obsession, desire. The day I gave it up, I shut down. Everything I shut down. So, Yogini, and then Rekha. What is the tug of war you are facing?
Shivam. Man mithya dukkha pulls, and the other side is Sat Chit Anand.
Beautiful. Look at this tug of war. Look at this beautiful tug of war. She says, on one side, she says, Sat Chit Anand. I am trying to pull Sat Chit Anand. I am trying to be in the Chit of Sat and have Anand. And the other side, Man Mit Dukha. I am the war between Ananda and Dukha. The war between Satya and Mithya. The war between Chit and Man. What a beautiful answer. What a beautiful answer. A tug of war between Sat, Chit, Anand. Three people pulling. Sat, Chit, Anand, one side. Man, Mit, Dukha, other side. What do you want? You want Sat, Chit, Anand? Many of you don't even know why you are Dukhi. You are dukhi because there is no ananda. You are dukhi because instead of satya, you are living in mithya. Instead of living in chitta, you are living in man. So when I start living in the man, I become unhappy. Instantly I become unhappy. Beautiful answer. So you want to say something more, Yogini?
I think this explains everything, no, sir?
No, it's very good. Amazing. What an amazing answer. The war, the tug of war between Satchidanand on one side and Man Mithya Dukha on the other side. Man Mithya Dukha, I think, was created, I'm not sure, by Girish, I think. It's not my creation, but I'm not sure who created this. Rekha Parvan.
Shibhu AiR.
Shivam.
Even I wanted to say Mithya and Satya.
Mithya.
Or samsara.
Yeah. So there is, okay, good. There's a war between the truth and between the illusion. Now let me explain this, what Rekha is saying. The truth is what? The truth is that we will die. The body will die. The mithya is as if I'm going to live forever. The truth is nothing is mine. I will not, I didn't bring anything, I will not take anything. The mithya is I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. The truth is I came alone. I will go alone.
Go alone, nobody's
the mithya is my mother, my father, my son, my daughter, my husband, my wife. Nobody is mine. This is the satya. There's a tug of war, and the mithya is pulling, and the mithya is pulling. And we are mithya. God is up in the heaven, and we are doing arti and we are ringing the bells. It is mithya. We have to be still. We have to be still to hear the divine voice by cutting the noise. This is satya. We are not able to attain satya because mithya is winning the tug of war. So today, that's why I chose this topic, my dear friends. I want you, Rekha, what is the tug of war inside your life? What is the tug of war inside you? Is there something pulling like this inside you? One side you want to pull, one side you want to pull. Is there something pulling inside you?
It was before, now it's not like that.
We all face tug of war.
Yes, we face, but it is better now. Yeah, like good. I'm overcoming many wars.
Even an enlightened person, suffers a tug of war because the enlightened person also has a mind and ego still. Although he has transcended it, the phoenix comes back. The mind brings a rotten thought and the mind pulls the tug of war. On the other hand, like I told Ashok Nichani, if you use the power of the soul and you're in consciousness and you use the power of the intellect, so one tug of war is mind versus intellect. One tug of war is intelligence versus ignorance. Similar, all very similar. One tug of war is NEP versus PEP. NEP is what? Fear, worry, stress, anxiety, anger, hate, revenge, pessimism. And PEP is optimism, love, faith, hope, compassion, forgiveness, courage, confidence. Two opposite emotions. But I can tell you one thing. Every human being is living with a tug of war except a true yogi. And a true yogi also is not having the tug of war when he is in yoga. The moment he is in bhoga, the tug of war starts. The tug of war starts. Atmatre. And then Kavita.
Same, sir.
Sure.
Mainly the tug of war is between attachment and detachment.
Well, look at Atmatre. Look at Atmatre coming and telling us what a tug of war. Attachment is pulling you. Detachment is on the other side. If detachment wins, then attachment loses the tug of war. If attachment wins, you lose the tug of war. Your detachment goes for a toss. Look how Atmatre comes with us. Googly, how he bowls the ball. He said, see, attachment is pulling us. We are attached. We are attached. Oh, it can be the worst tug of war. It can be the worst tug of war. Because you're attached to somebody, you are pulled and pulled and pulled. And you are just swept away into samsara. You're swept away into the samsara. You don't want to be in samsara. You want to be in detached attachment. You want to be in liberation. You want mukti. How to be mukti? Mukti, opposite of attachment is mukti. When you're detached, you're free. But unfortunately, This war is constantly playing in our heads, constantly playing. And what happens? You know what happens? Atmata, you will be best man to tell us. We experience so much pain. We experience so much misery, so much unhappiness. How to be in that state of ananda? What Yogini said, Satya Chit Ananda. How to be in that ananda? How to win the tug of war? You know, when you win the tug of war, before I close and go to you, when you win the tug of war, you pull all these damaged things. You pull the mind, you pull the ego, you pull the attachment, you pull the samsara, you pull the desires, you pull all this rubbish. And you're holding the rope. Then you're the king. You're holding the rope as a yogi. The yogi is holding both the ropes in his hand, both the sides of the rope. The yogi not only wins the tug of war, the yogi is holding the full rope in his hand. There is no tug of war. When is there no tug of war? When is there no tug of war? There is no tug of war when you defeat the opponents completely. You defeat attachments. You defeat desires. You defeat samsara. You defeat all the lust. You defeat everything and you live as a yogi in Satchitanand. Then there's no tug of war. What is our goal, therefore, my dear friends? Our goal is to win the tug of war. Kavita. And then Roop, and then Bliko. Yes, Kavita.
Shivoham AiR.
Sure.
For me, the tug of war is mostly like living moment by moment. I always start worrying about the future or anything. But live moment by moment.
So who's pulling you to worry?
My mind only is pulling me.
Correct. You know the answer. The mind is pulling the tug of war on one side. What should you do on the other side if you want to win the tug of war against the mind? What do you need?
I need to still my mind.
What is that called?
Go into consciousness.
Exactly. You know the answer.
Yeah.
You know the answer. You know the method.
Yes.
Still the mind. Still the mind. Shanti se mila. Kya hasi anand. Satya ke chit mein mila. Satchidanand. Shanti se mila. Do you hear this bhajan every day?
Yes.
You should hear this bhajan every day. Every day.
This helps me a lot.
The bhajan will tell you, Man bada hai chor, चैन चुराता है, डर और चिंता में हमें डुबाता है, मन को है मारना, दुश्मन बड़ा है वो, मन को जो मारे mukti wo pata. This mind, Kavita, this mind can make us do all idiotic things. This mind can kill us. This mind is a shaitan. This is what Rumataji started the discussion. Rumataji said, agar shaitan nahi banenge, to shaitan ko nahi marenge, to Bhagwan nahi banenge. This is how Rumataji started the call today. Rumataji said, shaitan ya Bhagwan. The tug of war is between shaitan and Bhagwan. If you let the shaitan win the tug of war, the Bhagwan is gone. But if the Bhagwan wins the tug of war, which means your consciousness, your energy, your stillness, your willpower, your soul power, then you win the power. So, Kavita, please win the war against the mind. Don't lose it.
Yes.
If you want to still the mind, if you want to kill the mind, still the mind. शांति में है जो जीवन जीता, सत्य का चित्त करता, वो आनंद पाता, शांति में ही तो एहसास ये होता, प्रभु है अंदर, महसूस ये होता, Shanti se mila. You know, when we are in stillness, when we overcome the rascal mind, you know what bliss we experience, you know what peace we experience. If we can be in that state of consciousness of Sat Chit Anand, you know how much bliss, how much peace, how much divine love. But we get caught in this samsara, we get caught in this mind, we get caught in attachments, and we lose our bliss. We get caught in samsara. We get caught in the noise. We are running like mad people. We get caught in the race. We lose the grace. One side of this of the tug of war is a race. One side of the tug of war is a grace. If you have grace, you win you win the race. But if you're running the race like a mad person, I know people who are running and running and running. Kya chahiye? That's why, who told, I think Liko told or Chidanand told, Ashok Nichani told, Vairagya. Vairagya doesn't mean Vairagya means you remove your shirt, pant and walk with chaddi in the road. That is not the meaning of Vairagya. Vairagya means you are a master. You know who's the Vairagya? The Vairagya is like this. The Vairagya, that's why so many of the spiritual people, they stand like this. The finger is up like this, which means I'm in charge. I'm in charge. I'm in command. I'm in command means you win the tug of war. If you are a slave, if you don't have the freedom, if you don't have the mukti, if you don't have the ability to be in consciousness, then you are lost the tug of war. We have to be the master. If on the tug of war, one side is the monkey wanting to make us a donkey, and the other side is the boss who's riding the horse. So you say, I want to be the boss. I want to be the boss. And I will cut the monkey's tail and make the monkey into a monk. But if you don't let if the monkey wins, if one monkey wins, then the monkey makes us a donkey. And the monkey takes over the boss. The monkey rides the horse. Then we don't know. We don't know what we are doing. We don't know why we are doing. We just do it. We are unhappy, but we do it. No. We must be in the... You know what Krishna says? What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? Who will tell me? Let me give a special prize on this. What does Krishna tell in the Bhagavad Gita similar to tug of war? Anybody can tell me? What does Krishna tell in tug of war, about tug of war? Similar, like tug of war. You know what he says? Anybody? Krishna says, the five senses are like the five horses. The five senses are the Panch Ghoda. The five horses are controlled by the lagam, the mind. You must be the sarathi. You must be the charioteer. You, the intellect, the consciousness, that you must control the mind, the lagam that controls the five horses. Then you win the tug of war. But are you the charioteer? Are you the sarathi? Are you the man? Are you the slave? Are the five horses, if they start riding wild, you know where you will go? You will reach nowhere. You will just be out of control. So my dear friends, today's session is very important. Always remember, what is the tug of war happening in your life? Who is pulling in the opposite direction? Is it your mind? Is it offenses, farces, faces, forces? Who is pulling? Is it a myth? Is it a person? Sometimes it's a person. Sometimes a person is making your life miserable. A person is pulling you. Now, I don't let anybody pull me. Because if I let somebody pull me, then I lose the tug of war. Nobody, no myth, no mind, nobody should pull us. We should be the master. And if we are the master, then we win the tug of war. So this is a very important session. I hope you will not forget. Ru. Yes, Ru, what is your question?
Shivam, Guruji.
Shivam.
Guruji, a tug of war between free will and destiny.
Free will and destiny? What do you mean? There is
Yeah.
nothing like... What do you mean by destiny? There's no destiny. What do you mean by destiny?
I mean, sometimes we feel that everything is already written, or...
That is ignorance. That is not that is ignorance. You have got twin karma. You have got a free will to choose. Don't tell me there's a tug of war between free will and destiny. There is no destiny. If you're talking of destiny, you're talking of ignorance. There is nothing called destiny. There's karma. Karma you can't change. Karma is unfolding. But you have got a free will to choose. So where is what is the problem in the tug of war? Your ignorance. Suppose there's an ignorance and somebody tells, मैं क्या करूं? मेरा नसीब ही ऐसा है. मैं क्या कर सकता हूं?
Yeah, that's what I meant. And one side is free will, that we can do everything.
So ignorance and willpower. What is the you should say? On one side, there is ignorance pulling us. On the second side, there is willpower. The willpower is the power of consciousness, the power of discrimination, the power of choice, the power of the soul. You have to reach that point. I have something written by Girish. Girish says, tug of war in choosing Shreya and Var. Beautiful. Beautiful. Girish says, the tug of war between Shreya and Preya. You know what is Shreya and Preya? One is the pleasant. I think Preya. Preya is the pleasant. Oh, I know this is pleasant to me. I want it because it's pleasant. You know, it's pleasant. And Shreya is what is right. My guru used to always tell me this. Shreya and Preya. Preya is pleasant. Something which is pleasure. Shreya is what is the right path. What is the spiritual path. So we have to choose. The Shreya has to win over the war against the Preya. Because if we don't win the war, and if Preya wins over the war, we are in deep trouble. We have to learn. We have to learn not to lose. It's very important. Prayer is very momentary. Prayer. And Shreya is divine. Shreya is something very divine. So you must choose the divine. And if you don't choose the divine, then you are lost in pleasure. Right? So you need to get to this point. Very good point. Who is going next?
Sir,
So
same,
one more.
sir.
1 minute, yeah. 1 minute.
There is a
Leena
war
says,
between, sir, peace and misery.
Peace and?
Misery.
Okay, good. So peace, basically, the peace, if you're pulling peace on one side, misery the right on the other side. Will misery be pulling you? No, misery will not be pulling you. The mind will be pulling you. The mind is making you miserable. So if you let the mind win Atmatraya, you will reach misery. If you let the peace win, you will have. If you let the consciousness pull, you will have peace. So in consciousness, you will find peace. With the mind, you will find misery. The mind is one side, the consciousness is one side. So really, you see, the biggest tug of war is between mind and consciousness, between Sat Chit Anand and Man with Dukha. All are the same. It's one. It is, but this tug of war exists, and we must be still, and we must have the wisdom to make the choice. Therefore, we need a guru. Therefore, we need a mentor, a spiritual guide. If we don't have a spiritual mentor, a guru, a guide, we get carried away in the wrong direction. If I did not have a guru, I would have still been selling saris and toys. I was the biggest sari shop and the biggest toy shop in India. I would have still been buying and selling saris and toys. We had 25 tailors making ready-made saris and blouses. Lady would come, a foreigner would come, we would make a ready-made sari, make a blouse and give her in half an hour. We were in that business. We had a fashion show. We had 10 models displaying saris. No. I mean, this is what the guru helped me win the tug of war. So on one side, you have a guru. On the other side, the tug of war is a gugu. One side is a guru, one side is a gugu. A gugu takes you from good to go, from darkness to darkness. Imagine you have a wrong guru. If you have a wrong guru and he wins the tug of war, you're gone to dogs. You're gone to the wrong side. Many people, when I ask them, oh, are you following spirituality? You know what they say? Yeah. I'm following this guru and this Swami and that Swami. And I smile. It is more, they are telling they are following these people because of like a brand, like I eat Cadbury's, I stay at the Marriott, I stay at the Taj Hotel. It's like a brand. They are following a branded guru. But is that guru going to get them anywhere? Is that guru going to get them?
Guruji, sorry to interrupt. अगर आपके कांटेक्ट में ना आए होते तो आज केयर में ना होते, पता नहीं क्या कर रहे होते.
क्यों? अब मैं नहीं होता और कोई प्रभु आपके सामने आ जाता. प्रभु के रूप.
गुरुजी, ये आपके कांटेक्ट में आने से ही सब ये हम जो आपको अपनी फीलिंग्स बता पाते हैं, सब आपकी कृपा से है.
देखिए, कृपा प्रभु की है. We are nothing. We are nothing. We are just a manifestation of the divine. We are all particles of SIP. Rumataji. Huh? We must always remember this truth. कि मैं क्या हूँ कुछ भी नहीं, सब कुछ तुम ही हो प्रभु, तुम बिन मैं क्या कुछ भी ना. We have to learn, Rumataji. For example, one side there can be one side tug of war is bhajan, one side tug of war is Bollywood. One side tug of war is bhajan, one side tug of war is Bollywood. कोई हमें बॉलीवुड की तरफ पुल कर दे जाएगा, हम जाएंगे, फिल्म देखेंगे, ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे. फिर क्या होगा? भजन का क्या होगा? कल हमने गाना गाया, आप सुना? कल आप थे? कल गाना सुना? आप थे?
हाँ जी.
कल का फेवरेट सॉन्ग था मेरे चित में और ख्याल में तुम बस तुम ही हो, ऐसा कोई पल नहीं जिसमें तुम नहीं हो. तू दिल की धड़कन, तू मेरी जान है, तू मेरा सब कुछ, तू मेरी सांस हो, सब कुछ तुम ही हो. कहीं दूर पे तुम तो नहीं हो, दिल के अंदर हो, तुम मेरे पास हो, सब कुछ मेरे हो. Imagine you are in this state. You know what Ananda comes? Just today they booked my ticket to an island called Fifi. They booked my ticket and I was missing from November 1st to 6th. I am going to be in an island in Thailand. And they were booking and I booked the ticket. But when I saw the ticket that came on the 5th or 6th of November, the last ticket, I'm in the flight from 6 o'clock till 8:30. So मैंने क्या किया? I told my travel coordinator, immediately cancel the ticket, change the ticket. They said, sir, the cost is 5,000 rupees more per ticket if you have to take another flight. I said, it can be 10,000 rupees more. Zoom call nahi miss hoga. Don't miss the Zoom call. Why? Because this call is the call of Ananda. This call is the call of Sat Chit Anand. These 30 minutes transports us into a Swarga. Each one of you is Sip. Each one of you is divine. And some of you are highly evolved divine souls. My dear friends, that's why I say, don't miss a single day of the Zoom call. And if you really want to be a karma yogi, the best thing to do is bring more and more people in this call. Bring more and more people, and that way you will be a real karma yogi. With folded hands, I thank you.